Salam, everyone. Good to see you. Good to be together. Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We begin in the name of the source of life, infinitely compassionate and infinitely merciful. And we bring our attention to our breath. The breath is our companion in presence, always. And what a beautiful companion to have, if we can remember to be aware of it. And as we inhale, be centered in your heart. And as we exhale, sense your whole body. Know that you're embodied here now, aware in presence. Inhaling, centered in the heart. Exhaling, aware of being embodied. A soul having the experience of being embodied in this world. And the soul connected to our divine source, as it always is, whether we're conscious of it or not. And Basir, do we have any name music you could call up while keeping my voice?
Sure.
The nay is the breath. A beautiful reminder for us of the yearning of the soul and the subtlety of all the states a human being passes through in this yearning. Each breath with awareness and gratitude, Yes, gratitude. Evola. practice helped us to be aware of our own breathing. Excuse me. It's relatively early in the morning here. My throat hasn't cleared yet. Excuse me. And listening to the nay, we become aware, subtly aware, of octaves. Octaves of music, octaves of reality. And I'm hearing some pings. I think the pings are coming from my phone, which I'm going to shut down now. Bear with me, friends. Yes. So, Alhamdulillah, a new month begins. And it's a month leading into Ramadan. Camille sends her salams and her beautiful wishes for everybody's Ramadan. So we just note that, begin to prepare ourselves for this blessed and sacred time. Time of sacrifice, time of discipline, time of beautiful friendship and sharing iftars. Beautiful mixture of sacrifice, denying the nafs what it typically wants, and experiencing our own, in a sense, independence. Needlessness is the word I was really looking for. That in Ramadan we come to closer to the state of needlessness as we intentionally let go of the desire to eat and drink and snack and all of that, and focus more on remembrance and worship. And our theme for this month, remember and resonate with the highest truth, which is a theme we've had before, an important one, which is why we're coming to it again. Remember and resonate with the highest truth. Every theme that we offer and focus on has a context. It's a formulation, an articulation of something to help us focus our efforts and our awareness and in the context of this world and also a higher reality. The human being is a being living on many levels, and it's easy to forget those higher levels, to be neglectful of that awareness of a higher truth, of a reality which is generous, merciful, forgiving, a source of guidance, a source of deepest support for the human soul. So we offer this theme. It's a concept, it's a formulation in words, but how do we do it? How do we remember, and especially how do we resonate with the highest truth? Resonance is a beautiful concept. It's like we begin to attune to something other than the incessant demands, desires, and fears of the nafs, of the ego. We are all alive through this source. We are all conscious through this source. And on this path we learn to call upon it continually. It's interesting that really when we're in our thinking mind, there's always two or more. There's duality. There's ego and other, or others, and all the issues that arise from this, because each of us, each ego, each nafs, each self is unique, has its own desires, has its own preferences, and we're all different. We're not the same, and yet on a morning like this, on a day like this, on an evening like this, we come into a coherent field, a more coherent field of sharing, of a common intention, of a common yearning. And when we move from the thinking mind and we move and drop into the heart as we did in the meditation, the most direct way to that resonance is to move into one's heart. So take a breath and consciously allow the center of your being to drop into the heart. And from the heart to feel a bit of that resonance we're talking about. And the breath. And the breath may change. There are three qualities of breath. There's the sun breath that's activated through the right nostril. There's the moon breath activated through the left nostril. And then there's the breath of perfect balance, which is when both nostrils are breathing equally. So maybe at this moment, take note. What is your breath now that you're in the heart? Maybe you're in the state of the Kemal breath, the breath of balance. Remember and resonate with the highest truth. So the human being is a many-storied structure, many levels of being. And just as when we listen to the ney, we have a sense of its wandering through different octaves. And now and then you feel it moving up and touching overtones and higher octaves. And you sense an awareness that the ney, in moving through its improvisation, because it's not composed, it's moving through a scale or scales, maqams. Each maqam having a quality, a soul of its own, an emotionality of its own, and yet sensing these presence of the higher octaves and how beautifully it wends its way through all these different states, but continually with in an awareness of a whole range of octaves of experience, subtly referring to those higher levels and touching on them. And then eventually in any beautiful improvisation, or taksim as it's called, you see how it eventually returns in a very artful way. It doesn't just stop, doesn't end. You can feel it beginning to end, and you wait as we're listening, and then you feel it coming to that moment, that place of poise and balance, Kamal. And we can bring this into our lives more and more, especially during this coming month as Ramadan approaches. You know, our lives are days of taking on tasks, meeting our responsibilities, struggling with the challenges of life. Some of us have great challenges and even physical suffering, so we acknowledge that, and emotional suffering. These days, I see quite a few people in the depths of emotional suffering, where some people whose hearts are so tender, so sensitive, that they become overwhelmed with their own empathy. I caution you to keep our empathy in balance. If we drown in it, we're forgetting something. If we drown in the sorrow of humanity's suffering and how can we be aware of humanity's suffering and the suffering of parents and the suffering of children? How can we be aware of it and at the same time be in a state of faith and trust? Trust in what? Trust that the divine reality exists and ultimately is a comfort and ultimately is just. And ultimately receives every soul with love and generosity and grace. So, this is the theme. Remember, remember, and resonate with the highest truth. We're calling these things to mind even while we're in the midst of the challenges we face. I'm also happy to say that we're beginning the 4th year of the Mysterian School. It was just announced on the newsletter. And we're doing it again because many people have expressed their wish for it, their need for it, which we're very happy about. And this year's focus will be on spiritual practice, the way of the dervish, which is the way of the seeker of truth. It's the way of the lover. as well. And it's something very practical. We say again and again, this way of life, these practices, this adab, this way of relating to our own self would be the most beautiful way of life, even whether or not there was an eternal soul, whether or not there was an all-knowing and all-generous God. The way of the dervish would still be the most beautiful life. For the reasons we've just been describing. Because every human being has within them the capacity to touch these different levels of our being, and sometimes touching those higher levels is rare. Rare as a dramatic, life-changing experience perhaps, and yet that highest level is subtly present all the time and guiding us, blessing us, teaching us. So we will attempt to work in practical ways in the coming 9 sessions of the Mysterian School. You can find it on Sufism.org. It's in the banner. There are a bunch of banners. You might have to scroll through them to get to the page, but you'll find it. So to just reiterate a principle, how do we resonate with the highest truth? Drop into the heart. The heart experiences unity. The heart senses the grace of this moment. The heart takes us out of the traps of egoism, the reactiveness of egoism, the obsessions of the false self, the arguments and resentments and regrets of the ego. We have a process for purifying ourselves with astaghfirullah. May God forgive me. We ask forgiveness continually. But in asking forgiveness, it's with an awareness of this extraordinary generosity and abundance of grace. So we faulty human beings make our mistakes. Inshallah, we learn from them. And we give thanks. And we pause now and then just to recall, what is this highest truth? What is this level of reality in which meaning and purpose and love, perfection are all clearly evident? And this truth, this highest truth, must be present in our greatest joys and also in our most real suffering. It has to be there in all these states, and because it's beyond those states. And it's this that the dervish, the seeker, the lover, the Sufi, aspires to and welcomes. Remember the breath. How is your breath at this moment? And what divine names might we invoke to help us remember this highest truth? Well, one of them for sure is Azim, Azim, which means the most high, as in the English word azimuth. Is that how it's pronounced? And if you breathe Azim and you let it resonate somewhere above your head, your physical head, let's call it an invisible crown. Well, dervishes don't wear crowns. They wear CKs or other head coverings. But breathing Azim, just a few breaths, Ya Azim, Ya Azim, Ya Azim. And touch that resonance in the higher levels of your being. You can practice this as a zikr. And when you pronounce the word Azim, you can feel a vibration up here. I know we keep reminding you, get out of your head and into your heart. Okay, we get out of our head and into the heart, and in the heart we find this higher resonance. It's not the resonance of the thinking mind, it's not the resonance merely of the brain, but of the higher pole of our existence. You are a pole, an axis that runs from the lowest levels of existence, the levels of dense materiality, right up through the human realms, realms of human emotion and human thought, and higher into the angelic realms, the realms of divine qualities, up to the highest pole of your existence, which is sourced in the subtlest state of being, which is one way we describe God, Allah. Allah is the subtlest state of everything. And you are a pole that runs from dense material reality right on through all the levels of human aspiration and imagination to this highest level where you are sourced in the divine. So one pole of your existence is in this non-existence, as it's called in Sufism. And non-existence is the true reality, the true source of everything. Everything is flowing from non-existence into existence. So at one end, pure spirit. At the other end, your nafs, yourself. Nafs is not a bad word. It's not a bad thing. It's necessary. Spirit is in love with nafs, because nafs becomes the vehicle for manifesting spirit. That's the purpose of having a self, to bring the divine qualities into existence. It will happen naturally, this flow. It will meet your needs. It will guide you. It will even comfort you. So, remember and resonate with the highest truth. And on that note, it's time for Zikr Allah. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Waladdallin. Ameen. As long as we're in this world, none of us is free of faults, mistakes, and sins. May we be forgiven and may we be forgiving. Astaghfirullah. 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 Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. And may every astaghfirullah be pronounced with sincerity and purpose and gratitude. And likewise with every La ilaha illallah. Because everything in existence is the manifestation of a single source of life and being. And we say these words, La ilaha illallah, to remind us of the oneness of being and to remind us not to make idols of our ego's whims and desires. Bismillah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La This is a moment when prayer is very effective. Shoot an arrow of love to someone. Send a prayer of healing where needed. And send a reminder to ourselves to be in this resonance with truth and make our call. From you to you. Ya Allah, I call you and you alone. And I call from the deepest part of myself where I'm closest to you. I call from you and to you, Ya Allah. Allah, Yes, there's truth in silence. Ya Allah, Yahu. We give thanks for the light under which we gather. For our peer Hazrati Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. For the generations of seekers and guides that have come before us, and for all those who have been our teachers. We pray for the health and well-being of everyone in this circle, our families, our children, our children's children, future generations, our communities, and our planet. And may Almighty God make our intention and our awareness sound and bring us in readiness to the center of true beginning. And may we mention at this time anyone in need of prayer or healing. We send a prayer of healing to Maulana Asad Ali in Damascus, who suffered a stroke and is recovering. Evallah. By the breath of Mevlana, by the secret of Shamsi Tabriz, by the nobility of Imam Ali, and with the blessings of Muhammad Mustafa, mercy to the worlds, let us say who. Evallah. I'm looking at the gallery, seeing your many dear faces. It's a slightly larger gathering this month, maybe, that's related to Ramadan. Who knows? Fozia, are there any hands up? Or are we all in silence?
Seems like we're all in silence today.
That's okay. I There was something I wanted to mention, and now I don't remember what it was.
Eddie, we do have a friend who's just posted a question in the chat. Um, and it's, could you speak more to how to work with empathic pain as suffering seems to intensify around us?
Yes. I mean, how can we ever calculate the suffering of humanity at any point? Our attention gets drawn here and there, and also in our private lives, or so-called private lives, our personal lives. I mean, I was just drawing our attention to the fact that we can allow ourselves, especially some of us who have big hearts, big beautiful hearts, and we get drawn into an image of suffering, a well of suffering, and you go down that well and you don't know how to get out. And this actually prevents us from acting with true compassion and of, yes, it paralyzes us. And yet at any time, at any day, in any year, the suffering of humanity is incalculable, but also the grace of the divine is infinite. Excuse me. And in some way, we need to be masters of our own souls. And just as imagine being a surgeon. Sometimes I try to imagine what it would be like to be a surgeon working in Gaza, or name your place, okay? Name all the places of war and cruelty. And you can only be that surgeon when you have your empathy under control. So, what can we do? Ah, yes. Now I remember what I wanted to speak to you about. And it's the fact that the most important responsibility of the human being, I believe, is a responsibility, an energetic responsibility, to put into the world positive vibrations, to send into the world love and light, even while we are never for a moment neglectful of the pain and suffering and injustices of the world, of human beings in the world. There is no divine injustice. There's only the injustice that grows out of human egoism and the shall we say, the larger forces that human beings can fall under and be manipulated by. But our most profound responsibility is a responsibility in every moment to be putting something positive into the field of humanity. And all of us, as far as I know, the people that I know in Threshold, virtually everybody I know is an activist in some way. And activism doesn't necessarily mean being out at protests, but that's okay. Sometimes that's what's needed. Unless we get drawn into the argument, you might say, the conflict, and we add to the conflict, and we add to the hatred, and we add to the violence, even if only at the emotional level. So our greatest responsibility as human beings is an energetic responsibility. It's about what we put into the field of humanity, and when we put into that field our prayers and our love, then we're doing something for the whole of humanity. And this is profoundly needed at this time, because I see like being, there's various vortices and people get drawn into them and they get spun out and they get in this direction or that direction and lose the center and lose the core of their being, either overcome with sorrow or with anger or with despondency. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to share. And Elif was asking a question about the difference between shukr and alhamd. Well, yes, shukr is gratitude, and gratitude, some would say, is the most foundational virtue. It's, in a way, it's a place of beginning. It's where we begin. But it's not necessarily the ultimate virtue. Being the foundation is something beautiful. It allows us to trust, and it immediately puts us in touch with the higher reality that we're speaking about. So it's foundational. But hamd is praise and glorification, along with gratitude. It's the praise and glorification. And, there's this idea of glorification is something that takes us beyond this world. Not exactly beyond it, but to a different dimension of reality. And when we're in that state of glorification and praise of Allah, praise of Haqq, glorification of Haqq, because we've tasted it, we know that when we're close to it, we know when we're encompassed by it, everything is different and everything is in order, and we have the resources we need. We have the courage, we have the clarity, we have the generosity, we have the forgiveness. And the thing is that when you praise, there's no room for ego. When you truly praise, when you glorify, when you're aware of the again, Al-Azim, the most great, the most high. Azim, when we're aware of that, then there's no room for ego. So this is an important aspect, and Sufis praise in music, and they praise in worship, and they praise in every action, every situation. And somebody's saying it feels like we're having to work harder to stay connected in our practices. Maybe so. So we acknowledge that. And I think what concerns me is that human beings might forget more and more what is most essential. And more human beings might lose their capacity the capacity of the soul to make this connection. And our religions may not be doing the job well enough, because we cannot connect to that reality merely through beliefs or theologies. let alone through identities, the identity of I am a this or I am a that, and therefore I am special. As Mevlana says, what shall I do, O Muslims, for I do not recognize myself. I'm neither Christian nor Jew nor Magian nor Muslim. I'm not of the earth. I'm not of the air. I'm not of the sea. My place is the placeless. My trace is the traceless. So Rumi experienced that part of his identity that is beyond male and female, beyond ethnicity, beyond race, beyond religion. And yet, we're in this world. And we are also these things. Let a man undiscover the most beautiful masculinity, and may a woman discover the most beautiful expression of the feminine. And may we all be balanced, being neither too much of this nor that, but being a human being is a human being who can mobilize all attributes. Insano Kami, which does to be that complete human being. That's why you're here. This is what we wish for every one of you, that you come to that state of completeness, where you can be, you can manifest the subtlest Latif and Rahman, and at the same time embody Al-Qadr, power when it's needed, and to know the Azim, the truly great. That was a word Mawlana Asad I used to hear frequently in his presence in Damascus, when somebody would say something that was true, and he would say Azim, meaning great. We would say great, but this is more than great. Ya Azim, the Most High. I'm trying to see the time. As I look at my screen, it's sunlight behind it, so I don't see the screen very well, but I do see most of your faces, and it's beautiful.
Lady, we've got Amina with her hand raised, and yeah, it's just that it's 15 after 10
Okay.
a.m.
Thank you.
Okay.
Amina.
Yes.
Salam.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Beautiful ones. Alhamdulillah, we're all together. Yesterday, just taking a little bit the example of how to face things that are challenging in these days. I just recently heard a story about the Korean army being helped by the Canadian army in 1965 or something. And the Koreans were really surprised by the attitude the Canadians were taking, which was they, instead of being worried or blaming or something, they were singing songs of love, singing songs of love and all those things. So that helped them a lot, because actually they planned the strategies and everything helped them, and that attitude precisely helped them a lot to face that moment. The Koreans were surprised and admitted that that was a very good attitude. So there is the other part, and nowadays in these huge manifestations all over. And this one was wondering if that amount of people, this one also has participated back home in some manifestation, and it is amazing the kind of color, the power that is generated in those moments. So the model for these people is, well, we know which is the model nowadays, but what would it be if the model could be made by Insan El Camille, by people with awareness that is trying to elevate precisely what you just said, the vibration. What would it be if all that people, all those manifestations will be manifestations of love? And on the other hand, there's actually people who's doing that in other groups, in other religions. And so it's kind of like if Allah would be putting us, humanity, in a test to react and to realize what we were meant to be here for. And maybe it's the elements around are not very nice or they are very hard, very rude for some of them. But at the end, it's like trying to find that balance, that oneness that is on one side is not pleasant, it hurts. But on the other hand, we have other beautiful names, beautiful attributes that could help us balance. And then we just say, La ilaha illallah, and we just get the balance. You know what I mean? This one has been reflected on that, and I just wanted to share it with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you. Yes, well, this reminds us that the divine attributes are a spectrum running from the most beautiful to the most powerful, from Jamal to Jalal. And yes. And in all of the confusion of politics and ethnicity and race and gender, those issues are issues we don't approach, we don't attempt to solve or deal with generally in our sohbets, in our worship, in our practice. It's a complex field, and we put that aside. Collectively, individually, we make our choices, I know, and we must. But we focus on how each soul can come closer to the truth, and how each soul can grow in love. Yeah. Well, friends, Fozia, any hands up?
Oh, did I?
Okay. Good to be with you all. And Camille and I send our love and our wishes that we enter Ramadan in the right way, and that it becomes a time of closeness to Haqq and better understanding of ourselves and who we are in our core being. So, salam alaikum to you all.